Well. I didn't thought I would hear this news, especially when the season's not even half over. But this is news that everyone has been waiting to hear. So I'm going to read this article and I'm going to tell you what I think about it. All right. So, MLB umpire Angel Hernandez retiring after 3 decades. This is from Jeff Passan on ESPN.com. MLB umpire Angel Hernandez is retiring effective immediately, ending a controversial 3 decade long career that in recent years turned Hernandez into a source of consternation with players and punching bag among fans on social media. The 62-year-old Hernandez, who is in a statement confirmed earlier reports he would be retiring, reached a settlement to leave Major League Baseball, according to a source, and will be leaving after umpiring thousands of games since his debut in 1991. Hernandez, who worked his last game on May 9th and was replaced on Lance Barksdale's crew by Jacob Metz, sued MLB in 2017, alleging the league had engaged in racial discrimination. The lawsuit was thrown out by a district court judge, a decision upheld by an appeals court last year. With a penchant for bad calls, during a 2018 playoff game, he had 3 calls reversed by replay in the first 4 innings. Hernandez received a disproportionate amount of odium from fans. The lawsuit only added to the animus Hernandez generated, and the groundswell grew to the point that Hernandez retired after missing much of the 2023 season with a back injury. Hernandez is well liked among umpires who have borne the brunt of more criticism in recent years and rallied around him as a person. His on-field work, however, left enough to be desired that Hernandez became a constant trending topic on social media platforms and among the most maligned figures in the game. Just this season, Hernandez called 3 strikes on pitches well off the plate from Houston's J.P. France to Texas' Wyatt Langford. In 2022, Philadelphia designated hitter Kyle Schwarber was ejected by Hernandez after he slammed his bat following a called strike 3 on a Josh Hader fastball that was off the plate. Other Hernandez mishaps. Sorry guys if I'm talking weird. I'm a little bit tired right now, but I just kind of wanted to do this video in advance before I forget. Other Hernandez mishaps predated the league's institution of instant replay, including an incident in which Chicago Bears great Steve McMichael was ejected from Wrigley Field after criticizing Hernandez over the stadium's loudspeaker during the 7th-inning stretch, particularly after the retirement of Joe West. Before the 2022 season, Hernandez became the face of umpiring. The job has taken on increased importance with umpires relied upon to implement pace of game measures, including the pitch clock, ball and strike umpiring, which became front and center of the criticism of Hernandez, could soon be assisted or altogether taken over by the use of MLB's automated ball strike system, which is currently utilized in the minor leagues but won't be in the big leagues until at earliest 2026. Okay, well, I didn't know that part. The grading system of umpires is intentionally opaque, though Commissioner Rob Manfred at last week's owner meetings stood up for the league's work with umpires. Quote, there is in fact a really detailed evaluation system, Manfred said. According to The Athletic, quote, they get evaluated twice a year in mid-season and at the end of the season. They are monetary ramifications to those evaluations in terms of what they get in terms of postseason assignments, which is a big part of a big increment to what they earn. And they're in fact mandatory remedial activities that are more frequently than people realize imposed on umpires. Quote, having said that, I think that the management of umpires is a physically demanding job. It goes beyond just the evaluation, training, and discipline. It also goes to things like thinking about their career path. How long should they be out there? And that implicates things that your retirement program, I mean, there's a lot to the management of it, and I don't think everybody fully appreciates. Okay. Angel Hernandez, who worked his last game May 9, reached a settlement to leave MLB, according to a source in a statement. Hernandez said, quote, I have had the very good experience of living out my childhood dream of umpiring in major leagues. Hernandez had not worked in a World Series game since 2005 and last umpired a league championship series in 2016. His lack of playoff assignments as well as no promotion to crew chief despite his tenure served as the basis of his lawsuit against the league. Hernandez blamed league executive Joe Torre, who was in charge of umpiring, and later in a declaration said Hernandez had an, quote, overly confrontational style. The judge granted MLB a summary judgment in the case. In a full statement, Hernandez said, quote, starting with my first major league game in 1991, I have had the very good experience of living out my childhood dream of umpiring in the major leagues. Quote, there is nothing better than working at a profession that you enjoy. I treasured the camaraderie, I never heard of that word, of my colleagues and friendships I have made along the way, including our locker room attendance in all the various cities. I have decided that I want to spend more time with my family. Needless to say, there have been many positive changes in the game of baseball since I first entered the profession. This includes the expansion and the promotion of minorities. I am proud that I was able to be an active participant in the goal while being a major league umpire. And that is the end of the Article written by Jeff Passan. Okay. First of all, yeah, look what I'm wearing. I'm wearing my Major League Baseball hat, just like what the umpires wear. Okay, I'm sorry that I sound tired. It's funny that I'm reading an article about Angel Hernandez while I'm kind of tired. Because, I've seen comments saying, yeah, Angel is blind. Yeah. So, I was not expecting this news because normally umpires will retire after the season's over. But I guess Hernandez just couldn't do it anymore. But I do remember last year he missed like the first half of the season. I think he was there at the beginning of the season, but he disappeared. And I was wondering what happened to him. But then he came back during the second half of the season and he was just awful. His worst season yet. And we thought at the end of last year's regular season, we thought that's it. Angel is done. But no, he came back this year and he was even worse. Yeah, for those of you that follow Major League Baseball, for many years, this guy has been a problem. He is the worst MLB umpire of all time. I mean, it's just, his name gets mentioned so much. When you're an umpire and your name gets mentioned so much, that means you're not great. You're bad. When your name is not mentioned at all, or barely, that means you are a very good umpire. I mean, let's face the facts. Yes, they mentioned Joe West. Yes, Joe West was another umpire that many people disliked. Yeah. Yeah, this was kind of unexpected news, kind of like the John Sterling retirement, even though that's totally different. But you know, I don't know what to say. Like I know a lot of people are happy because he's retiring, but I never really had a problem with this guy. I mean, I've seen a lot of videos and clips of his bad calls, and I would be like, wow. Um, but I never I never really got upset at him at his calls. Probably because I don't really watch many games anymore. But I remember back when I used to watch games quite a bit, I don't really see him very much on the games that I watch. Some games I have seen him as the umpire, but I wouldn't get upset while watching a game that he's umpiring live. You know, I would just watch the highlights of his bad calls on YouTube. You know, but you know, there's a reason why he hasn't been in a World Series since 2005. I mean, when you're an umpire for over 30 years, I mean, yeah, you're going to be in quite a bit of playoff games if you're that good. But this guy is not that great. That's why he's not in any playoff games anymore. Hmm. It's just, yeah, man, I don't know how to feel. I know none of us are gonna miss this guy. That's how bad he is. You know. Um, I don't know. What do you guys have the worst Angel call ever? Because that must be hard. Maybe do like if there's like a top 10 video, or maybe do like a top 10 worst calls Angel made. what would be number one? What would be the worst call ever? That must be tough to rank 10 of his worst calls in his career. But I referred to him as the clown umpire because look at him, he kind of looks like a clown. Um, I saw a YouTube short of Angel Hernandez. I guess I can put it in the end screen, but I'm gonna say it what it's about. It's a YouTube short of him leaving the baseball field. I think it's at Baltimore, the Baltimore Orioles stadium. He was leaving after the game's over to go back to his locker room, right? And the fans were like saying his name and stuff like that. They want his baseballs. And then he says, sorry, I don't have any baseballs. He said that in a polite way. So it's like, wow, he must be a very nice guy. You think he wouldn't be due to the amount of criticism he gets. I don't know how this guy goes through it. He probably doesn't even look at social media comments. He probably doesn't even pay attention to the media articles talking about this guy. But I know being an umpire is not easy. I know it's kind of a stressful job. But when you're this bad for this long, and when you get worse year after year, that's a big problem. Well, I guess he is finally done for good. But I do remember that Sunday night baseball game. What was it, like 2 years ago, 2022, when he ejected Kyle Schwarber. Oh, and I saw there's this YouTube channel some of you guys have probably heard of, John Boy Media. He is a lip reader expert, and I've seen some of his breakdown videos of baseball games that Angel Hernandez was there. So yeah. Well, we're not gonna miss him. No one's gonna miss this guy. That's why he's the worst. But I heard, man, like the past year, people are criticizing these umpires, the way their performance. Some umpires are sensitive. They'll throw out players and managers real easily. I know. It is very unfortunate. Or maybe it could be the new rules that they have, which I'm not a fan of, by the way. If you want me to do a video on why I don't watch much MLB anymore, it's mainly because of the new rules. Not really a fan of the new rules that much. But I'll talk about that in a separate video. So, yeah, Angel Hernandez has retired, effective immediately. That's it. In case if you're wondering, he's Cuban. Um, yeah. Filed a lawsuit for not being in a World Series. It's crazy. Well, I don't know what else to say. I don't really have much. Like I said, I didn't really watch many games live when Angel Hernandez was behind home plate, but I've seen some of the clips. I've seen a lot of clips of his bad calls. It's that bad. Mainly balls and strikes. Like sometimes if the ball is nowhere near the zone, he calls them a strike. If the ball is actually in the zone, he calls them a ball. Like I don't know how this guy sees the pitches. I know the pitches that go in, they come at the catcher's mitt so fast. But no umpire is close to Angel Hernandez. that's why his name gets mentioned so much, because he's just that bad, you know. So, all right, think I believe I've said everything. Let me skim through the article one more time. Um, it's funny because I saw some comments from the past. Angel, he's like blind. He's like half asleep, and here I am half asleep reading an article about this guy. Yeah. You know, when you're a really good umpire, you're going to be in a lot of the postseason games. You know, they try to pick, you know, based on their performance. That's why you don't see Angel in a playoff game anymore. You know, I think, what is it, his last playoff game was in 2016, you know? So, hmm. I remember he was in the All-Star game in 2017. I watched that game live, and Joe West was the home plate umpire. Yeah, he got Angel and Joe on the same crew, you know? Which I believe that actually happened many years ago. Joe West and Angel Hernandez were in the same umpire crew. Oh boy. But I remember the Steve McMichael video. Yeah, Wrigley Field. He was at the booth doing the "Take Me Out to the Ball Game," and then he mentioned Angel Hernandez in front of the whole stadium. Yeah, so I'll put some Angel Hernandez end screen videos for you to check out to see how weird this guy really is. So I think I've said enough. Um, yeah, I remember I did a video about. I remember I did a video last year of me talking about Angel Hernandez possibly no longer umpiring games, because back then I didn't know he had a back injury last year. So yeah. Well, baseball fans. What do you guys think? What's the worst Angel call you've seen? You know, it's funny. Like at the beginning of the season, you know, someone said Angel is doing Angel things. You know, oh, we got Angel at an Angels game. You know, man. But yeah, this guy, like for many years, he's just bad. You know, year after year, he gets worse. Maybe he finally realized that he's just not good anymore. I don't know. I wonder if we're gonna see this guy. That'd be weird if we see this guy as like a umpire rules analyst. You know, like they have that in the NFL. Like CBS Sports, they have Gene Steratore, who used to be an NFL referee. He's now a rules analyst on CBS Sports. What if Angel Hernandez does something like that? That would be kind of funny. But I don't see that happening. I think I know an umpire that's on Apple TV Plus, Brian Gorman. I remember that guy. You know, it's funny. I started watching baseball games in 2013, and I got to know a lot of the umpires' names, and I would know what umpires wear what number. It's funny because that's why I got this hat, and I actually dressed up as a Major League Baseball umpire for Halloween twice. Me and a friend, we dressed up as umpires. So probably when Halloween season comes around, you will see that those unreleased videos. Yeah, I did it in 2020, and I had my mask on. Yeah, because you know that was the COVID year, and I did it again in 2022. That time as the home plate umpire with ball bags, and one of my friends was dressed up as the base umpire. So, yeah. All right, guys, that's it. Yeah. Bye bye, Angel. Bye bye. Bye bye. That'd be funny if someone made a song of saying goodbye to Angel. I don't know. All right, guys. What do you guys think? Let me know. Good night.